Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story, and the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a primordial energy that can only have come from Africa.
Hello and welcome to Mitv News at 6. I am Teresa Adeyemi. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday sworn in 3 new permanent secretaries of the Federal Civil Service. The exercise took place shortly before the commencement of the weekly Federal Executive Council FEC meeting at the Council Chambers Presidential Villa, Abuja. The new permanent secretaries are Lydia Shehu Jafiye from Adamawa State, Udom Okonkwo Ekenam from Akwa Ibom State, and Farouk Yusuf Yabo from Sokoto State. The president afterward presided over the weekly FEC meeting at the same venue. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is recuperating from a recent surgical procedure, joined the meeting virtually. Physically present at the FEC as Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF Boss Mustafa, Head of the Federal Civil Service, Dr. Folashade Yemi Eshon, and the National Secretary Advisor, NSA Major General Babagana Mungono, retired. The ministers in attendance include that of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and that of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello. Others were the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otubaniyi Adebayo, Communication and Digital Economy, Professor Ali Pantami, Power, Abubakar Aliyu, Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, and that of Human Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Ajia Sadia Umar Farouk. All other members of Council not physically present joined the meeting through virtual means. The leadership of the Senate is meeting with the service chiefs over the security crisis in the country. Present at the meeting are the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff, DG, DSS, and a representative of the National Security Advisor. The closed-door meeting with the service chiefs is aimed at reviewing the current security strategies and discuss new solutions. Speaking after the meeting, Senate President Ahmad Lawan said the security challenges have lingered and the Senate had hoped that the situation would have been better. Lawan said the situation is frightening, adding that there is nowhere to hide or go. He stressed that it is there at this time to come up with an effective solution as the crisis is dislocating where the head of government is situated. Responding, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, said a lot is being done to improve security. General Irabo emphasized that the troops are still committed to the cause, adding that no one is leaving any stone unturned in addressing the problem. The meeting between the Senate and the service chiefs comes few days after members of the National Assembly threatened to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari if he fails to properly tackle the security crisis in the country within 6 weeks. The federal government on Wednesday said the Abuja to Kaduna rail line will not resume until all those kidnapped by bandits emerge are rescued and reunited with their families. The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo, disclosed this during an inspection visit to the Idu and Kubwa train stations in Abuja. He said the federal government is deploying advanced technologies to rail services across the country to forestall similar security breaches. An Abuja to Kaduna train was attacked on March 28, leading to death and the abduction of more than 60 passengers. On Tuesday, 5 of the abducted passengers regained their freedom, bringing the total number of released victims to 37. However, about 35 passengers remain in the captivity of the bandits. In a bid to allay the fears of residents in the Federal Capital Territory FCT concerning the recent perceived security threat, the Inspector General of Police IGP Usman Alkali Babe has ordered massive deployment of additional police operatives and operational assets within the metropolis and its environs. According to a statement from the force, the move is to solidify the security and protection of lives and property of its residents, critical national assets and vulnerable facilities, as well as road users plying route in and around the FCT. The IGP made the charge during the force management team's meeting at his office on Monday, August 1st, 2020, while receiving general security update on the nation. Equally charged the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Department of Operations, Dig Balazama Senchi, to supervise and manage the deployment to ensure maximum security in the Federal Capital Territory. The IGP, however, cautioned members of the public, especially citizen journalists, on the dangers of spreading false alarms, misinformation and disinformation, as they could be detrimental and counterproductive to national security. In the same vein, the Inspector General of Police has assured Nigerians in general and residents of the FCT in particular of their safety and security, while urging them to go about their lawful duties without fear of attacks. The stopped by the ongoing crisis in the People's Democratic Party over its 2023 governorship ticket in Delta State, young members of the party on Wednesday stormed the National Secretariat of the PDP to demand the resignation of its national chairman, Senator Iyorchia Ayu. The party supporters acting under the aegis of Concerned Deltans for Good Governance were at the Wadata Plaza to register their displeasure over what they described as the refusal of the party chairman to obey an order of the Federal High Court which sacked Right Honorable Sheriff Obarevori as the PDP standard bearer in next year's governorship election in Delta. Recall that the court order, which was delivered by Justice Taiwo, declared Olorogu David as the lawfully nominated and authentic candidate of the party. It also directed the PDP to forward David's name to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in addition to ordering INEC to accord him the full rights and privileges due to him as the rightful candidate of the party. Addressing reporters during the protest, the leader of the group, Chris Anthony, accused Ayu of leading the party towards destruction. Chris pointed that Ayu lacks the capacity to lead the PDP and should honorably resign, adding that he has demonstrated gross incompetence in handling the affairs of the party. The last batch of Quara pilgrims who performed this year's Hajj in Saudi Arabia returned to Ilorin, the state capital. Early Wednesday, the pilgrims numbering 328 arrived at Ilorin International Airport via Max Air at 1:17 a.m. The pilgrims arrived alongside all the Kwara State Pilgrims Welfare Board officials, including the chairman, Dr. Abdul Qadir Sambaki. All the pilgrims who were in high spirit were received by their relations, who had kept vigil all night at the airport to welcome the pilgrims back home from the Holy Land. The pilgrims who spoke with reporters at the airport thanked God for granting them a successful pilgrimage. They also applauded the state government and the pilgrims board officials for ensuring their welfare while in the Holy Land. Sambaki also thanked God for making the Hajj operation hitch-free. That's all from the local scene. We'll go on a quick break to bring you foreign stories. Please stay with us.
A world of free entertainment awaits you. Anywhere, anytime, at the click of a button. A world where everyone is included. A world without subscriptions. A world where entertainment lives in your pocket, on your couch, and even in multiple places at once. This is a world of premium free. Why pay? Just watch.
This is Mitv News at 6. Now to foreign report. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, has left Taiwan after concluding a whirlwind visit that rocked U.S.-China relations and set shoulders through global market. In response to Pelosi's visit, China announced live-fire military exercises across 6 zones and waters surrounding the island of Taiwan that will start on Thursday and continue through Sunday. Taiwan's Ministry of Defense has said China's unilateral action is an attempt to threaten Taiwan's port and metropolitan areas, but some residents are shrugging off the threat. Despite the risks of China's military response, Pelosi's visit has exemplified the strength of the United States' commitment to Taiwan and could generate greater international support for the island democracy, according to several experts in Taiwan's political circles. Speaking to Taiwan's Legislative Yuan on Wednesday morning, Pelosi described Taiwan as one of the freest societies in the world. Meeting Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen, Pelosi praised Tsai for courageous leadership and called for increased interparliamentary linkage between the U.S. and Taiwan. China is planning to ramp up large-scale military drills around the South Rhode Island of Taiwan, which began as U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi flew into Taipei for a visit that has angered Beijing. The unprecedented 6 days of military exercise began on Tuesday night after Pelosi landed on the island featuring J-20 stealth fighter jets and testing fire of conventional missiles, according to the Global Times tabloid. The state-run Xinhua news agency reported the People's Liberation Army would also conduct expanded live-fire exercises from August 4 to 7th in 6 different areas around the island. Taiwan said on Wednesday that the drills violated United Nations rules, invaded its territorial space, and amounted to a blockade of its air and sea. Pelosi is the fourth-seated Speaker of the House to travel to Taiwan in 25 years, and Beijing has threatened serious consequences over a visit to the island, which China claims as its own. On Wednesday morning, it announced a series of trade restrictions, including a ban of sand export and the import of certain foods. More than 5,000 soldiers from Indonesia, the United States, and other countries have begun joint combat exercises on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, signaling stronger ties amid growing maritime activity by China in the Indo-Pacific region. The annual military training known as Garuda Shield has been taking place since 2009. But this year sees the participation of several other countries, including Australia and Japan, making it the largest ever. The U.S. Embassy in Jakarta said in a statement that the joint exercises, which began on Wednesday, are designed to strengthen interoperability, capability, trust, and cooperation in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Flying and Indonesia's military chief general Andika Perkasa opened the joint drills with a ceremony on Wednesday morning in Batu Raja, a coastal town in South Sumatra province. The exercises encompassing Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine drills will last until August 14th. The deal between Ukraine and Russia to unblock Ukrainian grain export may offer a way forward to a possible ceasefire in the 5-month conflict, said former German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder, a friend of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The rezoning the first grain carrying ship to leave Ukrainian ports in a wartime, with more than 26,000 tons of corn safely anchored off Turkey's coast on Tuesday. An inspection team of Turkish, Ukrainian, Russian, and United Nations officials working under the Joint Control Center started to inspect the vessel on Wednesday. After the checks are complete, it will sail off towards the Lebanese city of Tripoli. The easing of Russia's blockade has raised hopes that a growing food crisis in which millions in the world face hunger can be thwarted. If the first shipment reaches its final destination without obstacles, 16 other ships are expected to leave Ukraine to export grain to the world market. The move was made possible earlier this month when Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Ukrainian Infrastructure Minister Alexander Kubrakov signed agreement with UN and Turkish officials on reopening blocked Black Sea delivery routes. Earlier, Kyiv and Moscow had traded blame for the crisis. And up next is Sports Stories. Please stay tuned.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a primordial energy that can only have come from Africa.
Welcome back. You're still watching Mitv News. The Sheikhs Now Talking Sport. Napoli President Aurelio De Laurentiis has remarkably stated that he will not sign African players for the club unless they agree to not play in the African Cup of Nations. The 73-year-old says he loves Napoli's African players, but he rules having to pay them so much for the amount of time they are away. Napoli President Aurelio has remarkably stated that he would not sign African unless they agree not to play. The 73-year-old says he loves Napoli's African players, but he rules having to pay them so much. Former Fulham man Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa represented Cameroon at the tournament while he was on loan at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Ironically, Napoli made his loan a permanent signing back in May, clearly before the Laurentiis formed his stance. The Serie A side star striker is Victor Osimhen, but he did not play for Nigeria at the AFCON earlier this year. Napoli announced a bout of COVID would keep the prolific forward from representing the Super Eagles, but his withdrawal from selection and the timing of it raised a few eyebrows in Nigeria. Nigerian legend J.J. Okocha is back to Borussia Dortmund star Jude Bellingham to lead the Bundesliga title, challenging to defend champions Bayern Munich this time. The new German top flight campaign gets underway on Friday as Bayern takes on Europa League winners Eintracht Frankfurt. And former Frankfurt favourite Okocha believes Dortmund have a good chance of challenging the Bavarian giant thanks to their England ace. Despite Dortmund's attempt to close the gap at the top, there is no doubt that Bayern have strengthened during the summer transfer window. Fresh from sealing their 10th consecutive league crown, the Bavarian giant signed Dutch defensive colossus Matthijs de Ligt from Juventus, while also securing the services of Senegalese star Sadio Mane from Liverpool. And Okocha has no doubt that the African Cup of Nations winner will find his fate quickly. As the striker for Larry Balogun as John League One side stayed Reims on loan for the 2022-23 season, the 21-year-old made his first team debut for the Gunners during the 2020-21 season and also penned a long-term contract. Balogun featured in the Premier League just twice last season before spending the second half of the campaign on loan at Middlesbrough. His first loan spell away from Arsenal, the Gunners youngster contributed 3 goals and 3 assists and 18 championship appearances, nice that, as Chris Wilder's team fell short of reaching the playoffs. Reims finished 12th in League One last season, 12 points above the relegation zone, and begin their new campaign on Sunday against Marseille. Balogun becomes the French side's 6th signing of the transfer window, following the additions of Junior Ito, Andre Gravillon, Emmanuel Agbado, Patrick Pace, and Maxime Boussi. Khalidou Koulibaly has condemned plans by Napoli President Aurelio De Laurentiis to tell new signings they must agree not to play in the African Cup of Nations. De Laurentiis proposed a controversial policy on Tuesday, saying that any African player who joined the Serie A club should make a commitment to skip the tournament. Last season, Napoli were without Cameroon international Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa and Senegal defender Koulibaly as they represented their nations in the tournament that took place in January and February, while Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen missed out because of an injury. Koulibaly, who has since moved on to Chelsea, felt De Laurentiis was out of line with his remarks and claimed the views would not be endorsed by many others at the club. Napoli may have struggled for numbers without their African players. The result was strong nonetheless, with Luciano Spalletti's team taking 13 points from a possible 15 from the first 5 league games of the year. The only real disappointment was a Coppa Italia exit at the hands of Fiorentina in mid-January. And that's it on Mitv News at 6. Join us again tonight for our primetime news at 9:30 p.m. I am Teresa Adeyemi. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Good evening.
great mighty nation of the peoples of the earth, may we live and die in service to humanity. On this day, let's raise our banner as we follow truth and love. In this land forever blessed by God, a home for all.
God bless Nigeria, my home, sweet home. God bless Nigeria, my home, sweet home.
We are one great mighty nation of the peoples of the earth. May we live and die in service to humanity. On this day, let's raise our banner as we follow truth and love. In this land forever blessed by God, a home for all.
God bless Nigeria, my home, sweet home. 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 God bless Nigeria, my home, sweet home.
Once upon a time, in a land without hope, a story was told of a girl born to rule with light and love. Boys and girls, this is the story of the African princess.
On the day I was born, I was singing in the land, yes. It's been written in the sand that a princess shall emerge, yes.